This video's purpose serves as a reminder to you, the viewer, of what your reasons for doing what you do are. Why exactly do you go to the gym? You can do this in a deep journaling session. Why exactly do you pursue the hobbies that you pursue? Why are you pursuing the career, the business, the enterprise that you are currently pursuing? What is it all for, essentially? Why did you start self-improvement? If you think back to you starting self-improvement, your motivations were you wanted to be like the guys that you saw on the internet. But then as you became more aware of self-improvement, potentially, you were like, this just feels a bit more fake, and you probably maybe went off social media. That's personally my experience. I wanted to be like everyone I saw on the internet, and once I deleted social media, not all social medias, things like YouTube and stuff and messaging services, they stayed, but there's the Instagrams, the stuff like that, the Twitters, the stuff where it's very easy for things to infiltrate your mind and make you overthink things where you don't really need to. I got rid of all that stuff from my life. I didn't need it, and I became a much happier person because of it. And yeah, that was a good decision for me, and I recommend taking it unless like you use that for content creation and stuff. But I just don't, even if it would be better for me to do that, I personally don't want to, because I don't want to have to deal with things like Instagram or TikTok. Sometimes I myself have to think back at what are my motivations for doing what I want to do. I've been a skinny kid for the majority of my life. I've been underweight at points, and it's not been a fun experience to be like that. That's my motivations for going to the gym. That's why I eat a lot of food, and that's why I'm not fat or anything, but I am bulking up like healthily in a weird sort of way, clean bulking for a long period of time. Hopefully that results in a lot of gains for me personally. That's my motivations for bulking, for going to the gym, and that's always been set in stone. I want to just be capable of actually defending myself and defending other people that I care about, rather than being some small scrawny kid where the only thing he's good at is running away because he's quick. That never sat right with me, so I decided to change that. That's been always my motivation, which has been clear cut, crystal clear, for me to always be able to understand and look back on. Why exactly did I start this YouTube channel? I've always liked things that are a bit more scientific. I've never liked the bro sciencey kind of things. I mean, it's good for some people who don't really care about science, but I've liked science, and I've started producing a lot more science-based videos in the past 3-ish months or so, and it's been fun. I've loved editing them, I've loved recording them, because it gives me a chance to regurgitate the knowledge and interest that I have for science. No, I don't think there are going to be many people out there who are willing to research and understand the things that I've researched, understood, scripted, recorded, to actually be able to give other people knowledge. If I can give that in as like a synthesized version compared to what I find on the internet, that is a good for me, because that means that someone who would have gone without that knowledge if this video didn't exist means they don't, and they might have been interested in it but just couldn't really be bothered to like go and find that knowledge elsewhere on the internet. Because sometimes, I will admit, it's a pretty damn hard slog to find some of the things that I need to find some of the chemicals and stuff, but that's just the way it is. But I never always started out that way, being sciencey interested. I've always been interested in it, but initially, I will admit, the YouTube channel, my friends and family all thought it was kind of a hobby, but it's just been like a long-term project. I know it doesn't necessarily sound like the smartest thing for me to say this, but the video editing program that I used, I probably invested by now, if I think about the months that I've done this for, £140 in like the subscription. I've not made money off of this YouTube channel yet, but I know the dividends that will come from it. I'm probably on around 600 subscribers as we speak, but maybe by the time this video comes out in New Year, maybe it could literally be 800. I could even be monetized. That'd be absolutely insane. And at that point onwards, that's when the benefits for me start rolling in, and it means that I don't have to live a life that I don't want to live. I've been interested in science my entire life. You know this, I've said this so much, and I probably should stop because you're probably going to get bored of it soon. But the way that the scientific industry works is you're often the bad person. If you work in science and you work specifically industrially, you are probably the bad person. You're probably the bad guy, because big companies who don't care about you, the consumer, the citizens' health, they will hire some scientists who may have less morals than someone like you or I to study chemicals, sweeteners, preservatives, chemicals that they may gloss over potential long-term health effects, but they'll say, okay, in the short term, as in, does it kill you immediately? No, it doesn't. Okay, it's going to be fine for us to put in our food, to preserve it, to make it taste nicer, additives, etc, etc. That is what is laid out for me, or someone who's interested in science. You don't want to be someone who's a student researcher who is getting like PhDing, stuff like that, who lives off baked beans, and that's also not the kind of life that I want to live. As despite the fact that the work that I would have been doing may be very fulfilling and very fun, I don't want to like have to live the fulfilling work life and have absolutely nothing else, because that's also not a very good sacrifice. But I don't want to maybe be getting paid 150k a year to kill people. I never wanted to be that guy who is an industrial chemist, biochemist, who synthesizes all these chemicals. It's like the lab-made food where they make the first sample in the lab, then they figure out how they're going to be able to make it sort of in a factory production chain, and then things go on from there. That's not how... I didn't want to be the guy who makes the food, like literally puts the powders, the chemicals in the like food mixture, and then the world sort of has to suffer with it from then on. I wanted to be able to spread my knowledge in a positive light, in the sense of health, in the sense of anatomy, and that has worked for me. Like, I love doing that. It's a very fulfilling thing, and I don't mind losing the £140 of investment, because it definitely could turn out to be the best investment I've ever had in my life. But considering I'm not someone that spends much money anyway, the fun and the joy that I've had recording the thousands of videos, editing the not thousands, but you know what I'm kind of trying to say here. I mean, it's a bit of a hyperbole, but I've had a lot of fun doing this. And kids, if you think about how much a vape costs, right? A packet of cigarettes cost, I don't know, 15 quid. 140 divided by 50. I'm not very good at mental math, but that's going to end up coming up to around 9 cigarette like packets. People spend that in, if you think of like someone who is a generic chain smoker, that's 9 days gone. But someone who may have to be a bit frugal with how they spend their money on that like good, that's like not still much time anyway. That might be a month's worth of cigarettes gone. So for me, they're the kind of things that I always come back to when I think, why did I actually start doing this? What, I've lost money. What am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my life? Why is this all not working perfectly? I think back to the motivations for me doing this, why I started to do this, the joy that it's given me over the months that I've been doing this, and that's been absolutely perfect for me. This video is only meant to be a reminder for you to actually go through your motivations, but hopefully you did that during this video. I ended up sort of waffling and rambling about my motivations for doing things, and that I completely improvised this script, and I only intended for this to be 2 minutes, but I'm carrying on going for some reason. But yeah, that's about the end of the road. I can't think of anything else to say that could be anyhow interesting. But with that, I recommend subscribing, because I like this community of young troubled people who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have, and good luck.